Hey guys, this is Jason
This is
Douglas.
Adam MacArthur, voice of Yuji Itadori.
This is Derek Snow, the voice of Shinra Kusakabe.
This is Phil Parsons, voice of Kenny the Ripper Ackerman.
It's Merc Nguyen. You're watching Voice of the Heroes. Take it away, Flea Boy.
What's good, everybody? You already know who it is and what it is. And if you don't, it's the one and only one, Flea Boy Jetson. And you're watching Voice of the Heroes podcast. So if you're tuning in for the first time, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any interviews or discussions with your favorite heroes and villains from around the world. And heroes, today we got a very special guest, and it's a special episode. It's our 100th episode. So before we start, I want to take time to thank all of you for the love and support that y'all shown the channel. This is our first year really gearing up, and man, it's been a good one. So thank you so much. It means a lot to us here at Voice of the Heroes. Now, today's special guest is a true legend, a one of one, considered the world's greatest impressionist. That's right, from creating magic in the booth to creating magic in front of the camera. He's done it all. He's currently the voice in the newest DLC. Well, excuse me. He's currently the voice of the newest DLC in Marvel Rivals. That's right, man. The cold, calculated, modern day Terminator known as Ultron. He's also played over 20 different voices in Avatar: The Last Airbender, all the way up to characters in The Legend of Korra. And in DC, he's voiced characters like Deadshot, Commissioner Gordon, Scarecrow, just to name a few. And of course, he's voiced the Blue Genie from Aladdin in all kinds of video games and shows. He's in all kinds of video games, movies, and shows like How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Apollo 13. Even, I couldn't believe it when I checked out his IMDb. He was even in The French Prince of Bel-Air. That's right, man. We have a true GOAT here on the show. Let's welcome Jim Meskimen to the show. How you doing?
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Flea Boy. Nice. That was a really nice rundown. I didn't realize I did 20 characters on Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Yeah, you did 18 in the first one, and you did 4 in Korra.
So, yeah. That I remember. 4 in Korra. Yeah, that's going back a while. Anyway, thank you for that kind introduction. Nice to meet you.
Well, thank you for coming. And, let's start off with Ultron, man. You've been playing Ultron for a while. For those who don't know, he didn't just start voicing Ultron in Marvel Rivals. I know that's like, one of the big phenomenon games right now, taking everybody by storm. But I want to get your opinion on the character since you've been playing him for so long, because Ultron is really a compelling villain across all media, games, movies, animation, comic books. How did you even get that role, and how did you put your own spin and take on it?
Well, I got the role the way I get most of my roles. I auditioned. I did right here in this booth, probably here at home where I am. I knocked out an audition. They were looking for someone to play Ultron. They were. It was prior to the James Spader appearance in the Marvel Universe playing Ultron, so I didn't know exactly what he was going to do. Nobody did at the time, so I took my best stab at it. I'm an impressionist, so I tried to lay in a little James Spader, but that's not. It didn't really help all that much, to be honest. But I got the role somehow, and I've been lucky enough to play it in Marvel Avengers Assemble, and like you said, just tons and tons of video games.
That was excellent. So now you're currently in Marvel Rivals. Were there any particular lines or moments that was especially fun or maybe kind of diabolical for you to deliver voicing Ultron?
They're all diabolical. He has no light conversations or gentle asides. He's just it's interesting that the character of Ultron, when I first started playing him, I didn't really see how, outside of just enjoying comic book characters and so forth, I didn't see how it really related to real life. And now, of course, we're confronted with AI and all the things that come out of AI, and it's like, this is very Ultron-y, the whole thing, and the danger and the relentlessness and the no sympathy of it all. Certainly, I see echoes of that now in the culture. So. In the games, I honestly, Flea Boy, I just when I do a game like this, I'm so NDA'd. I've signed so many non-disclosure agreements that I just kind of wipe it. I just don't remember really anything. But I remember visually it's very exciting. And when every time they show me a little bit, it's an upgrade of what they did before, and it looks very engaging, very, very real, more real than a lot of things I see out in the world.
And I know fans are loving Ultron in the game. They're loving the new addition that they added to Marvel Rivals, and the fact that they're getting so many great voice actors to voice these characters in this game means like they're really taking the time and passion to give fans what they want, and it's really hitting in all aspects for this game. Now, was there a particular game or show that you really had more fun in voicing Ultron?
Well, I did work on Marvel Avengers Assemble. That was my first time doing Ultron, and that was great because I wasn't alone. It was a script. It wasn't like, a video game just has. It's like a spreadsheet. You look at you don't even hold a script in your hand. They won't trust you with a script, so it's all on a big screen, and you have various things that you have to say. They're not really sequential. It's not really a linear kind of story because it's a video game, so it can go any way. But when I did Avengers Assemble, I was in a room with, you know, tons of great performers, Fred Tatasciore and uh, Roger Craig's Roger Scott Craig, is that his name?
Yeah,
Roger Craig Scott.
I think he plays Captain
Plays
America,
Captain
Iron
America,
Man.
yeah.
Captain America.
And I bunches of guys. Anyway, 8 or 9 guys and some women, and that was wonderful because it's a story, and I like a lot of us got into voiceover because we fantasized about being part of some old radio show where we got to play lots of different characters and all be in a room together and turning pages, and the fun assembly of that was very exciting. So that was as close as I could get to that, and I really enjoyed it. It was really super fun to go in every day when I was working on the show, and I think we did a few seasons and watch other actors and watch what they do because it's not always about, well, look how amazing I am. I like to see what other people bring to it and other techniques they use, and it becomes a social thing and not just a work thing.
Now, when it comes to characters like Ultron and other Marvel characters, the Comic Cons have been really huge for characters like this, right?
Yeah.
Have you gone to any cons this summer, or are you gearing up to head to any?
I haven't. I haven't gone to any this summer. The last ones I went to were last year. I've been kind of busy with doing some live action stuff. I've been working on Landman, Taylor Sheridan show with Billy Bob Thornton that I'm playing a character in. So yeah, I hope maybe later this summer. I don't know. I haven't been contacted, but I think I'm going to do some sort of online signing.
Oh, you gotta let us know. You gotta send me the link. I'm definitely gonna get a 8x10 print from you. For
Okay,
sure, for
awesome.
sure. I
Yeah.
gotta get an Ultron one. That's for sure. All right. So now, if you could voice any other character in a villain, let's say a villain, right, in the Marvel universe or DC for that matter, who would it be and why?
Oh wow, that's a great question. I don't have a ready answer for that. Um, I just love I do love playing Ultron. Ultron is really there's nobody worse. You know, you want to play the worst. I mean, there are other people that have different characteristics, I suppose, like Octopus and Brainiac, and uh, I don't know.
Oh, I could see you as a great brainiac.
Every now and then, thank you. Every now and then, the audition comes up to play Joker, and I don't know. I've taken a few swings at it, but I feel like that really characters like that are there's so much that the fans have invested and so much history that I just don't have. I'm not much of a consumer of this kind of stuff. I do it, but I'm not. I don't have tons of books on my shelves. I don't have a lot of figures, and it's not a huge part of my day-to-day life because I'm sort of spread out all over the place, doing films and movies and developing my own screenplays and my own projects.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
yeah. So, I mean, that's the excuse I use anyway. But I I wouldn't want to. I don't know. I feel like me attempting to do a Joker. I'm like starting way back, so early in the process, and there are people that have been watching it evolve as a character and seeing other great performers do it. So that's just one that came to mind, though. But I did do a little voice for the Joker movie, the River Phoenix uh, movie.
Mm. You've
Not
been
River,
doing a lot
uh,
of, you've done a lot
Joaquin
of
Phoenix.
live
Joaquin Phoenix.
actions too, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
I do a little bit of everything. I do a lot of audiobooks. I said River Phoenix is Joaquin Phoenix, but right at the top of that movie, I did a voice in this kind of collage of New York kind of sounds, and I duplicated some old New York recording. But yeah, I do. I pop up in weird places, and that's typical of someone like me, a voice actor. I'm sure guys that you've talked to before and interviewed, is that we have our, things come along and it's a kind of a weird niche. And if they need a sort of a voice or a sort of an accent or sort of a character or a sound alike, often, I'm just very well equipped to do it. And I can send off a sample and people go, "Oh, thank God you're here. You can do this." And and it doesn't take a whole long time either, generally.
Now I know that you also played other characters. I think I seen a video you said your favorite character you voiced or you got into voice was Genie from Aladdin. Was one
Oh,
of your favorites.
yeah,
If you was
definitely,
to
definitely.
choose another character, who would it be?
Well, I mean, the genie's pretty. I guess I've hit the jackpot so many times with Ultron being ultra negative, and the genie being ultra positive. And then Colonel Sanders. I did Colonel Sanders for 7 years too, for the Kentucky Fried Chicken people, which I think is not the Marvel universe, but it's the universe next door. So I've gotten a chance to do a lot of really fun things, and I have to say I'm a little bit addicted to the surprise of auditioning and getting something that I didn't even know existed and or that I was unfamiliar with, and I just took a stab at. I've done some stuff for some other video games this year. Obviously, can't name them, but strange, kind of weird characters that I was unaware of that I just happened to. Some casting person or some producer thought I sounded really good, and I pride myself on being an actor, so I try to bring reality to these roles. And if they have a particular quality, then, it's just all the more fun.
What's one of the most underrated roles that you voiced during your acting career that you feel like deserved a little more attention?
Well, that makes me think of Epic Mickey 2. In
Mm.
Epic Mickey 2, which was, I guess, not a very popular game, but slightly less popular than Epic Mickey 1, I played the mad doctor who was, this kind of Eastern European mad doctor, kind of like Ultron, but with a little more phlegm. And he he in Epic Mickey 2, he had not just lines and not just, prompts and things like that, but he had long songs, he had ballads, he had big musical numbers, which were a tremendous challenge for me because I don't read music and I'm good at singing. I have a pretty good ear, but I can't look at a piece of complex music and figure out how to sing it unless I hear it again and again and again. So that that was an extraordinary experience, and I really had a great time. And it would have been great to come back and do another one, but it just was, I guess, not a very popular game.
Okay. I definitely never heard of the game, so that would be an
That's a
interesting
problem.
one to hear. I would like to hear that one
Yeah.
just to get to see what you did with it. But something that I do hear a lot, and I see it all the time, whether it be in reels, shorts, somewhere, somehow, and I love this type of content. It's really wholesome. I truly love what you do with your daughter. When she comes up to you and she asks you to do some of the spot on stuff right then and there,
Yeah.
I just love stuff like that. What's been the most unexpected impression she asked you to make?
Oh man, she's always asking me to do, like Nick Offerman or, to be fair, she does. She's very familiar with my catalog, so she will pick ones that she knows I can do. But she asked me something the other day, and she made a mistake. It wasn't. She like said the name wrong, and I'm like, "What, are you sure?" uh, it was like, no, no, wait a minute. This is not who she meant. Uh, I tell you what, the most exciting and surprising thing is that I get recognized at odd times for these videos, the content that you see, the hey dads we call them. And like the other day, I was in Texas working on Landman, and I was on the second floor of this hotel. And as I'm descending the stairs, I see a guy looking up at me. He doesn't have a very good view of me. I mean, it's from below. And when I got to the bottom, he said, I follow you on TikTok. And I was like, how did you even know it was me? I haven't said anything. The angle was bad. Turned out he was a salesman, so he had a good recollection of faces, and he used to be in security. So, he's a little more prepared than a lot of people. But it always surprises me when I get stopped on the street. One time I got off a plane. I was working on a movie in Malta, in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. Got off the plane at midnight, and a fella came up to me and said, "Hey, I really like your content. I love that stuff you do with your daughter." And I'm like, I might as well be on the moon. I can't believe it. But that's the good part of the internet. And you say it's wholesome, and it is. I mean, the humor is humor. It's not political. It's not very cutting edge. It's not very edgy at all. It's just something that my daughter and I like to do. And so I don't get, swarmed by a lot of people or anything like that. I'm not that kind of character, but every now and then somebody nice comes up and says, "Hey, I really like what you do." And it's like, thank you. I forgot that other people saw it. I thought it was just something my daughter and I did.
Nah, I think it's so cool, man. I think it's awesome. Oh, well, let me ask you, right? You got the impressions down packed to a T. So many different ones at that just shows your incredible range, right? Which impression took the longest to master, and which one came, frankly, freakishly easy for you?
That's funny. Well, I continue to work on Robin Williams, for example, trying to make it better, more fidelity to the character, And before I go in to record for Disney, I always listen to a little bit more Robin. I worked on that George W. Bush for quite a while back in the day. He's the used to was president of the United States. So I actually, concentrated on that. And Patrick Stewart is another one that I love to do and that people seem to enjoy. And so I listen when I can. The thing about impressions is, particularly with characters as they get older, is that they change a lot, and Patrick Stewart doesn't really sound that way anymore. Nowadays, when you hear Patrick Stewart, he's got a much more light sort of timbre, and indeed, he goes quite high. But the Patrick Stewart that we think of is, of course, Picard, who's very, straightforward and probably was in his 40s. So you're always searching, you're always hunting and trying to make them better and more precise and more fluid, Who else? Tommy Lee Jones. I remember working on Tommy Lee Jones quite a bit because there was a character in an audiobook drama that I was doing that I thought, who would play this in the movie would be Tommy Lee Jones. So it was before Tommy Lee Jones was quite as big as he is now. And so I thought, well, I've got this idea about this little known character actor who now has become, now when I hear that recording, I go, oh, geez, couldn't I have changed it a little bit?
Now, let me ask you, right? With voice actors, especially voice actors coming up now, because back in the day, it wasn't really as competitive as it is now, right? With so many people trying to get into the voice acting thing. Before it was like, Japanese animations were just coming to the United States. So dubbing was kind of new, things like that. Animation. Like you had your regular guys, doing like the Mel Blancs and things like that, doing like 100 different voices, things like that. So you had just steady core of guys doing a certain amount of voices. Now, a lot of kids think like, hey, I could just do a couple of impressions and it's probably easy to get in. What would you tell them as far as getting into the world of voice acting? Because, some people got the misconception like, hey, if I can get a good Mickey Mouse personation, then, I can get in. But I bet people don't know you come from a background of talented actors and actresses.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm lucky. My mom was Marion Ross of Happy Days fame, and she was a professional, and I saw how she hustled and how she operated, and she just was really relentless. I think the advice there's lots of advice to give to people starting out. Um, First of all, it's acting. So even though it seems like just horsing around, and a lot of times it's a lot of playing, eventually and ultimately it's about acting, which means taking on a character very fully, really, really living in it. People say that when I do impressions, my face changes, my posture changes, everything. It's because you're trying as much as possible to become that character. So anything you can do to get into theater or be on your own or go into classes or somehow really explore the world of acting, you'll find that that's kind of like an infinite journey. It doesn't really stop. You have to be very interested in it. And the other thing is like the famous voices that you could mention that I'm sure people that you've interviewed or will interview, the guys that have done it for 30 years, 40 years, the guys that could tell you, well, Dawes Butler voiced that character in 1965, but then it was taken over by this other guy. The guys that know the history of it, they're really, really an interesting breed of cat. And for the most part, voice actors are very expert in knowing all about this field. I'm not such an expert. I know what I can do, and I know that I can duplicate things in present time, but I'm not a scholar on a lot of things. And again, like I said, I'm not anymore now that I'm a grown up. I don't watch a lot of animation. When I was a kid, yeah.
Yeah.
But now I'm either working on animation or reading audiobooks or doing other things in my life and tackling other things. I don't sit and watch cartoons. And I don't have time. If someone sends me a cartoon and says, "Hey, can you do this voice?" I'll watch it long enough to go, "Yeah," and then and then I'll shut it off and go do something else. So the people if you want to be involved in animation, you got to really dig deep. You got to dive deep. You got to flex some muscle in it because it's not a light job. It takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of persistence. It's like farming in a way. You
Mm.
plant the seeds, you till the soil, you wait. Oops, the rain came. Oh, or the rain didn't come. And, you wait another year. It can be like that. It can take a long time. So I think a lot of guys think, oh, this will be easy. I've got a microphone. I can do this voice. This is a piece of cake. But you're up against a lot of people that really, really care and have been doing it since before you were born. So competitive.
Yeah, it's definitely a competitive sport when it comes to voice acting. What's a voice or a character that you've never done that you would love to take a swing at?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. What's out there? What do you recommend?
Um, well, right now, I would like maybe some Western type of stuff. Like we lack Westerns nowadays, like great Westerns.
Yeah,
Whether it
yeah.
be a show, well, we did have one recently, on Paramount. I forgot the name of it. Ah, man,
Yeah.
I'm blanking out.
Well, I think that's a good idea. I love the Western characters. My daddy was from Texas. I've spent a lot of time in Texas, and I'll tell you, there's a lot of great characters that live in there. And when I was a boy growing up, too, every other show was a Western show. You
Hey, you already got it down fact, man. I would love to
Ready?
see a Western or something like that. And I could definitely see that. Now, speaking of in front of the camera stuff, right?
Yeah.
You've been in front of the camera all your life. Was there any pressure growing up coming from, your background, like becoming like stepping into your own? Was there pressure?
Well, there was pressure, internal pressure, really, more than anything else. I wasn't committed to it for a long time. So I haven't really been in front of the camera all my life. I got started really in my 20s, my early 20s, and that was when I finally made the decision, because I also was an artist. I drew cartoons. I was a classically trained painter, and I thought I was going to go down that road. And I started to, and that was the way I supported myself in New York. But that was after I decided, hey, I'm going to New York. I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And but that was, yeah, I was 23 at that point, and um, I've forgotten the question. That's
Was there
what
any
happens.
pressure for you growing up?
Pressure.
Uh,
Yeah, the
yeah.
pressure was, yeah, thank you. Thanks for you're a good host. You're right there with the
I got you, man. I'm on
sometimes you have
point.
to ask the question two or three times. Uh, so my mom was very successful, and I saw that, but I also saw that she had to work really super hard to get there. And the show was so popular, it was really over the top. And I questioned my own desire to be an actor. I shouldn't have, but I sort of second guessed myself. I was like, do I want to be an actor because I want to be in in limos and I want to be everybody look at me and sign autographs and all that stuff, or what do I want to do? And I didn't know because I hadn't actually engaged in getting really much training, or I didn't know what acting really was. I'm still finding out what it actually is and what the purpose of it is. So I had to work out what my purpose would be to be an actor, and that took a while. But once I did, then I went to New York and I got some improv training that was fantastic. And that set me up for commercials, and commercials set me up for film and plays and movies. And, but it's a long road. When I started in New York, I think I worked for a couple of years before I got a commercial. Couple years, and that's a lot of auditions, a lot of mail, sending out pictures, and we didn't have any internet back then, so you'd have to lick an envelope and stick it in the mail and pay the 17 cents or whatever the postage was back then in the old days.
Well, I definitely got to ask you this next question, right, from my grandparents, man, because one of their favorite films was Apollo 13, and you worked with Ron Howard on that.
Yeah.
How was that? Was any type of behind the scenes stories? Because I know y'all became good friends after that, right?
Well, we were friends earlier from another film. The first film I did was for Ron. It was called The Paper with Michael Keaton and Glenn Close and Marissa Tomei. And then Ron was kind enough to have me be part of Mission Control in Apollo 13, which was a great experience. I had a wonderful time. It's a great movie. It really holds up. The Paper looks like, I don't know, it's so dated now. You look at the phones and the clothes and you're like, oh my God. But Apollo 13 was already supposed to be looking back in history, and it was just really well put together, good tight script, great performances, Tom Hanks, Kevin Bacon, Bill Paxton, Kathleen Quinlan, just wonderful cast. And I worked with all these fun guys in Mission Control. Ed Harris. Ed Harris played Gene Kranz. He was the head of Mission Control. We're not going to lose a man on my watch. He was fantastic. And behind the scenes, I remember one day we worked long hours, and we were on this set that was a perfect duplicate of Mission Control in Houston. Yeah, I mean, down to the drop ceiling. I mean, if you looked around, you couldn't see that it was a movie set. There was no lights. It was just a recreation of that space that they would shoot in. And, after hours and hours and days, there was one day when everybody got a little bit giddy, and they started throwing stuff and papers, and we're waiting for the camera to come. It was following an actor that was going to burst into Mission Control, and so the camera was way outside the building, and we knew that, and everybody's waiting around, and there's delays, and after a while, it's just, well, we're just a bunch of goofy young men, after all, dressed up like our fathers and our grandfathers. So people started horsing around, and it started to get a little bit out of control, so that the ADs had to say, "Wait, get it together! Stop it! Get back in your positions!" and then the camera burst through, and we're all like, "Oh yeah, that's right. We're in a movie about space. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, stop throwing paper wads and stuff."
Man, that must have been awesome just to be on that set. Now, my next couple of questions are basically universal questions. I ask all my guests these questions.
Okay.
I love to hear these answers though. And the one I'm about to ask you, right? I try to answer it myself, and every time I ask the question, I get a whole new list.
Yeah.
But what are
Okay.
your top 5 fictional characters of all time? You can go through books, movies, comic books, cartoons.
hmm
Who are your top 5 fictional characters?
Oh, that's great. Well, I would say um, Huckleberry Finn.
Hmm.
Uh, Orson Welles' character in The Third Man is a character called Harry Lime. Great character. Charlie Chaplin's Little Tramp. Unbelievable. Anything Buster Keaton ever did, just fantastic. And so what is that? That's four.
Yeah, you got one more.
And I got one more. Well, you, I got to say, Henry Winkler, the Fonz. Come on, unbelievable, terrific character.
Okay, great list. Now we're going to shorten the list, right? And this one is basically a Mount Rushmore. And usually I go about like the type, like if I'm interviewing a singer or rapper or a voice actor, I try to keep it in their genre. So we're gonna do the Mount Rushmore of voice actors. So you get
Okay.
four choices. They could be your peers, they could be people, who paved the
Yeah.
way. They could be, people that inspired you. Who
Yeah.
would you put on that Mount Rushmore?
I'd put Nancy Cartwright,
Mm,
voice of Bart Simpson.
yeah,
There should be a woman on Mount Rushmore anyway, right? I mean,
she's a goat too. I'm not
she
gonna
is
lie.
a
She don't
goat.
get a lot of love like she's supposed to, but she's a
Yeah,
goat.
she's doing fine. Um, Orson Welles again, great voice actor. He did old radio. Um, Rich Little, the Impressionist, should go up there.
Mm,
And
we got one more.
I got one more. Dawes Butler.
Dawes
Dawes
Butler,
Butler.
who's that?
Oh, the old Hanna-Barbera voice of Deputy Dog, voice of gosh, all the old
Animals?
Hanna-Barbera characters. And yeah, they were mostly animals. Yeah. Yeah.
I
He
don't know.
was in he was in
I
the
might have to
Jetsons.
check. He was the Jetsons.
He's in the Jetsons, yeah. Oh, definitely.
I might have to check that one out, man.
Oh, yeah, you'll hear from him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now the next question, right? Oh, before I get through this, right? Because I was thinking when I said Mount Rushmore, you voiced a lot of presidents, and I've actually seen you was in an X-Men movie voicing John F. Kennedy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I've done Kennedy a lot for TV and for video games, Call of Duty, Black Ops. Kennedy appears. The Michael Bay Transformers. I think the third movie had John F. Kennedy in it. X-Men had Kennedy in it.
Oh,
What?
so they be using Kennedy's like maybe face or
Yeah,
something, and then use your voice.
that's right. Then they put me in there to do the voice of Kennedy because for some reason, I guess I'm the right age or the right style. And like everybody else, I had to audition, but still, most of the time they're very intelligent and they choose me.
All right, we came to the end of our show. Thank you so much, Jim, for joining us. But before we let you go, are there any upcoming conventions or projects you're able to talk about?
Uh no, I don't have anything upcoming except for yeah, I'll be in season 2 of Landman. So if you haven't seen season 1, I'm in the season finale, episode 10 of Landman. And that's a great show. I think your listeners will enjoy it a lot. And what else? I pop up in a lot of things. I've done a lot of strange stuff. I'm doing stuff with Seth MacFarlane every now and then. So he's got a
Mm.
new series coming up, animated series of Ted.
Oh, I love that show. That's my
Yeah,
favorite.
yeah, and
Man,
then
it takes a lot for me to laugh, right? Especially with the sitcoms
uh
and some of the comedies these days.
yeah,
They're like a little lackluster for me. But Ted, the first season, man, was hilarious. My God, I can't wait for season 2. It's taking a minute, but I can't wait till it drops.
yeah,
Also let people know where they can follow you at on social media.
yeah. Instagram at Jimpressions and TikTok at Jim Meskimen and my YouTube channel. I got YouTube videos going up every day, and that's also Jimpressions, I think is the way you find that. And yeah, get in touch with me. Contact me. If you ever need like a little recording for a birthday or anniversary or Father's Day or anything like that, you can go to jimmeskimen.com and contact me that way.
And all those links will be provided for you in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is our 100th episode. I've been blessed. And, thank you so much, Jim, for coming on the show. Thanks, everybody who's been supporting. Thank y'all so much. We're going to continue with great episodes. Just leave comments. Let me know who y'all want to see, and I will try my best We just starting out, so don't give me no crazy names, man. I'll try my best. Hopefully, I can get somebody on here. But thank y'all so much for the support, Jim. This really meant a lot to me. Thank you for taking your time out, and definitely check his YouTube out. I had a blast going through his YouTube. I think I spent about 4 or 5 hours last night just getting ready for this show and stuff like that, and
Wow.
just going through it. A lot of great material on there, man. Make sure y'all check it out. Link will also be provided for you in the description below. All right, heroes, we're getting up out of here. But as always, make sure you love yourself, pass that love on, and love others. And if nobody told you so, just know your boy love you. Voice of the Heroes, signing out.
Sing it with me,